The Season 7 Gauntlet maps and the Season 8 Guild War maps are out in the Forerunner server. Here is a sneak peek. All right, so here I am in the corner. Hello, everybody. I just want to make sure that I am not in the way when I'm describing the maps that are available right now. So let me go here in the garrison team. We can look at the tower first. At least I can show you what exactly they changed. So I'm actually going to start at the top here because I just want to show you here that this really did not change a whole lot. I can tell you that. The only difference that I'm picking up here is that this platform unit, they took it out and then they took the platform unit that was right here. Okay. And so essentially that this platform unit was useless because it was too close to the spawn point. So it could easily be picked up. And then they opened up this platform units back here. So now we have 3 in a row here. The other thing is that we still have the 3 in a row here for the fighter defenders. If that's what really, if you had a defense that was working for you and that was not getting swarmed, if that's what you want to try to keep up, you can. And so you can essentially, if you had a defense that was working up here, you can keep it. They didn't change a whole lot. The one thing that they did give us the option on, if you want to take advantage of that, is they put in a ground tile and they opened this up. They took that wall off and they pretty much gave you a slot here if that's what you want to do. You're just gonna have to give your defenses tests and see if you can make that work. But if you put somebody here on the side, it just, to me, it just looks a little bit more easy to swarm than the standard defenses that we've seen in Season 7. So, you know, just take that into account. What the change was made is essentially was back here. So they took 2 out and they opened up 1 here and they opened ground tiles right in front of the defender, if that's what you want to do for this. The other change that they did, if you can see it, is that they took the wall out and they really opened this up. There are some variations here that I can think of defenses that might be able to work, especially if you want to do a little bit more platform reliant type defenses, right? But you're gonna have to be conscious about, getting bombed or getting rushed through in this type of situations. But if you bring enough CC, you can kind of slow that down and try to counter it. But that's essentially what they did here. We have the two ground tiles here. I would not suggest putting the defender back here. You're just going to get blasted off the map with mages. So if you want to try putting somebody like a defender here and back here, let's pretend that this was Wukong. That's essentially what you could try doing while having the backup there from somebody like Ingrid or Talia, right? That has this long range and they can start either doing damage or slowing the demon soldiers down. So essentially what they also did here in this part, as you can see, they gave us an Ingrid spot. So now we have 2 different Ingrid spots that we can play around with here and try to form a competent defense for the gauntlet. The other spot that most people relied on in building defenses was here in the front. Now this here still has the Ingrid spot. All right, so this is one, but not too many people used it. There was one where you could use if you wanted to here, and that's essentially what kind of did. They did give you the option here to play Ingrid if you want to. Now in this situation here, so just going to be a little bit tougher to switch her mode, right? Because she's so far back. But there's only this one, the one tile here with the defender, and then possibly anything that you're trying to rush through, you got to just make sure that she doesn't clap him on the way up. But that's essentially what they did. They kind of opened things up. Now, the one thing that they did, though, is that they switched this platform to a ground, so you cannot really rely on putting a defender here, or not a defender, excuse me. You cannot rely on putting a marksman here or a mage here to try to protect your defender. These spots do remain, but do keep in mind that they're still vulnerable to garner guard, so you have to defend against that. But you have these 2 platforms here. If you have a marksman, somebody that can really extend beyond this platform, you can do that if you want to. And if you do decide to put your defender back 1 tile from here, you're just opening this up to getting picked off. So I wouldn't do that. But essentially what they did for the gauntlet is that they made this map more versatile to somebody like Dahlia in Ingrid. So they really opened this up. So we have more options for defense building, at least for the gauntlet. So it'd be nice. It's nice to have it. It's just that they are, the GvG heroes that we rely on are the ones that are going to really excel in this map. Now let me show you what they did to the central keep. So there were some changes here as well. Okay, let me start with the standard in the back, because here everybody kind of adjusted to putting their defenses back here. This is just working better for everybody, unless they just could not prevent the swarm. That's the only time that the defenses will really fail. Now, the major primary change here, because we would put our defender here, as you can see, is that they took this platform unit that is right behind the defenders. So now it's going to be a little bit more harder to protect the defender with somebody like Ingrid or Paredes, right? But at least we do have this other platform back here where we can rely on some like a marksman to at least try to protect this if that is the event. Now they did still at least keep these 3 ground tiles here if you want to do anything with them. If you prefer to put Emirate on the back, that option is still there for you. Or if you want to place him here in the middle, that option is still there. So you can play with that. The other thing that they changed here is that they moved this platform over here. So they kind of opened this up. One of the things that I am going to test with our guildmates is to see if this platform is in range of these demon soldiers. If for some reason their targeted mechanic is, I don't expect it to be, because it's 3 tiles, right? 3 tiles and 1 over. So I think that this is out of the range of the archers, but we'll definitely look to see, because remember that in this direction here, this fighter tile was in the range of the archers when they were coming down here. So again, they opened this up. You can try to put a Dahlia and Ingrid here, but you just gotta make sure it doesn't get picked off. So my prediction right now is that it doesn't, but it could, based on the targeting mechanism. But right now I'm saying it's gonna be hard to determine that, because it's 3 and 1 over when they're coming over to this area here. All right, so but with that too, they took away, or that we still have this fighter tile here, if that's why you were placing a fighter, but do remember that you have to build them tanky so it doesn't get picked up. So that's still there. So essentially what they did is they just opened up a platform here for somebody that has a long range, and they can help you up with that. Not too many differences that we see here in the middle, but they did kind of open it up a little bit. We no longer, we don't, can we rely on something back here? We could, because now it's a little bit more of a distance, right? It's just trying to figure out where the healer is going to be best placed, and what how you're going to place another platform in there, or if you're going to put a fighter down here. That's essentially what's going to become, right? So play around with that, see if you can come up with something. Make sure that the mages don't pick anything off here, but you definitely can try to see if there is something in here that you can form to actually make this playable. But they certainly open up platforms back here to allow you to at least try that. So that's another area that you can try to see if you can come up with something a little more durable. Now, here in front of the keep, I would say don't rely too much on this, because look at how far this defender tile is up here. They did open up the platform unit right behind them, but there is no fighter spot here that can really protect the defender. And that's the unfortunate part here, is that they opened this up here, but not anything behind here. So it's going to be really hard to try to protect your defender, or try to prevent any type of swarm or anything from this angle here. You can place a marksman here or your healer here if you want, but do remember that the Garden Guards still do target this platform. So you're gonna have a little, you're gonna need a little bit more CC if that is what you want to do. So make sure that you have something to protect, and for that, in case you do want to be able, you want to do something like that. We have a healer here that extends out. Yep. So at least some healers can extend all the way up here. You have the long range here. If you want to, you can do something like this, but do remember that if you don't have any CC, you could easily get bombed. And that's something that you can you have to watch out for. So they kind of open things up for us to at least play with more parts of the map than we actually did during the season. So here is season 8's map. So the let me start here again with the tower. That's what most of us will primarily be playing on, unless you have a very stacked account and you can take control of the keeps. All right, so for season 8, this is all brand new, so let me recall everybody back because I just wanted to get a general idea of how things stacked up. So usually we have 2 spots where you can try to form defenses. In season 7, it was kind of, you could do 3, but in this one, it looks like it's going to be 2 of them. Unless you want to get sneaky and come up with something like, you know, that you can try to tackle something down here if you wanted to. But you're gonna need a mage or a marksman that can extend all the way out here. They're definitely giving us opportunities here for long range fighters. If this is what you want to do, it just clamp things down in front. That's essentially what you could do if you wanted to. Again, we're gonna have to test this platform here to make sure that it's not gettable or gunner guards. I do expect it to be, actually, because these even though they look like barriers, they're not barriers. The demons can still go through it. So definitely there are some things here that I think that we could possibly make work. It's just making sure that this platform unit is viable, right? And we can use somebody that can extend out here to do some damage or at least protect from blockers. So we're definitely going to have a spot here where we can play. The one that I was looking at a little bit more extensively, that I think we can make a little bit more of stubborn defenses, especially if you like your esotericist Emirate type defense with you can definitely do that. So here, I did that by mistake. So we have here. So do you see all this area open up here? There are definitely different things that you can do with that. You have the long range fighter here. If you had somebody like Emirate and you want to put him back here, you can do something like that. Again, in this type of situation here, I would say just make sure you protect yourself from bombs, and you know, you have some type of CC here that can prevent or slow things down. But in this case, definitely they open things up a little bit more here for you to be able to you know, try to come up with defenses here with different formations, just to see if there's anything that you can come up with. The one thing that I am not seeing though is this Ingrid type tiles. That's essentially what I was looking to see, if there's anything with Ingrid that I could do, but not in this spot here. This is not going to be viable. So definitely Ingrid in this map is going to have a hard time playing unless you want to use her in her stellar mode, right? But she primarily is used for her AoE. So with that, I would say that the fighters might get a play. The long range fighters might get a little bit more play here. I'm not seeing it with Ingrid. So that is definitely something here, unless I'm missing it, unless you know, you guys are seeing it and I'm not. But it's definitely going to be hard to see where we can play Ingrid in this map. All right, I would say if I were to use Ingrid, it would be one, to make her the Lord, to make the Watcher composition, and then see if I can take advantage of her stellar mode. That was essentially what it would be, but I'm not seeing anything where her solar mode is going to be able to dominate this portion here. Now, the keep will definitely be interesting to defend in season 8. So you can see the track here of the demon soldiers is going to be straight up, to the left, down, straight through, straight up, straight to the right. All right, so there's no zigzagging in a sense, right? It's all straight through. So in terms of putting a defense together, if we put Ingrid here and then put a defender here, what's gonna happen? Mages, right? So I'm gonna take that spot out for her, unless there's some type of protection that you can put here up front with these 2 fighter slots. It's gonna be complicated to try to defend on that spot down here. Now, if you wanted to, you could try to build something here, right, where then there's a little bit more protection. So you have a healer here, you have your tank here, and maybe you have some type of fighter that has that, you know, a little bit more of a range to try to protect this part here. it's gonna be really hard. This type of formation here in this section of the map, I think is going to require tank fighters. Okay, because with this platform units, this platform unit is too open for mages. It's just easy to clip that off. So I wouldn't. I don't think that I would rely on that too much, especially if you want to put a defender down here. It's going to be really complicated to try to defend the map in this part here, unless it's just, you know, fighters and defenders and you just have it all clamped down here. But I wouldn't do that because you can get bombed. So it's a yin and yang to some of the formations. I was kind of looking down here to see if there's something here that you can build, right, to make sure that you can come up with something if you wanted to. And I would say it could be possible. It's just, again, with putting anything in a platform that is right next to a defender, you just open yourself up to things getting clipped off by either bombs or the garden guards. So again, this part of the map, it would be really complicated to defend. And again, I would not use this platform here as an excuse to use Ingrid and then put a defender here, because again, you're just going to be able to pick this off with mages. We're going to have to get creative to defend this keep. So that's definitely something I'm going to practice on with my guildmates here to see if there's a way to do that. Now, I think that at least from what I'm seeing, right, just first hand look, it's going to be back here. Somehow trying to see if there's a way to defend this from back here. So we have 3 ground tiles here. So definitely we can do things like we do with our nightmare compositions, just as an example, right? Building the 3. Because the turn is so much shorter, definitely I think that there's a less likelihood that you're gonna get bombed, because at least you'll have something to be able to CC if you can protect against that. It's gonna be hard, but you can try to protect against it. The other thing that I'm seeing here is, yes, you probably could open yourself to a rush unless you can somehow make somebody like Ingrid or Dahlia survive long enough before she gets clipped off. Again, mages is going to be the X factor here for this. So I think that what really happened with the keep for season 8 is that they're steering us away from the platform units a little bit more and really try to see if we can build defenses with ground units. That's essentially what's coming down to here, because that's the way that I'm seeing it. So that's essentially one of the things that we're going to have to work here as to exactly how we're going to be able to defend this. Because if we put a defender back here, we pretty much clap out all these platform units. They're not usable, okay? Especially with how garden guards and archers direct their targeting. They did give us a platform units back here, so there are some options here, definitely, to try to counter all of this or try to protect this. It's just that they're going to make it really difficult to play somebody like Ingrid or Dahlia in this situation. There's a situation here for Dahlia. If you can kind of slow things down and at the same time make sure that you have some type of damage coming through here, right? Just to make sure that there's no clumping down here. It's going to be tough to do, but there are ways that we can try to prevent against swarms and any type of bomb mechanic if that is the case. So that's what the keep is. Yes, it is going to be hard to defend, at least from what I see in it as it stands right now. That will do it for this video. If you did appreciate the content, please do hit like and subscribe. In the future, I will come out with a more comprehensive guide to see exactly how you can defend these. I will try to get a guest on to help me try to theocraft the defenses, and I will see you all in that video.